I got you, people. You know, this war is getting out of hand. And it's not only that, other countries are suffering that got nothing to do with this war, right? Nothing. Nothing at all, right? Our government here in America and those other European countries up there and Europe, all them white folks, Caucasians, the ones that are over here, the so-called Americans that think that they speak English, but they speak slang because they don't speak British English, and they think they're all that. But, that's another story in another history class that they didn't take. But they know they speak improper English, but they tell everybody else to speak English. Anyway, thing is that, the world's in chaos. Why? I gotta say, because of the white folks. People say, come on, Tony, stop saying that. It's true. People, think about it, man. We're in this mess because the white folks want to rule the world. They just can't leave nobody alone. If you're not white, you're not right, so you can't say anything. So whatever the white folks say and the Europeans say is what's right. And they never been so wrong in their life, man. Everything since they touched has been wrong. They did everything wrong, but they prospered. They got rich off of it. And, they built their own empire. And now that is falling apart. They don't want to let it go. But sooner or later, it's going to fall apart. That's prophecy. Prophecy. Did I say it right? I'm slant. See, I don't speak English. But I'm trying my best, white folks, to speak your language. language. So you won't show me. But either way, right? I still in the wrong side of history because I'm not white. I'm not European. Right? So everybody else got to suffer. Because if the white folks don't like it, everybody in the atmosphere of humanity got to suffer. Because it's got to be their way or no way at all. I don't understand. Why they're not happy? They got all the riches. They got control. They make the laws that work for them. Doesn't work for anybody else. Because if they break them, they still get away with it. But as the regular citizens break the law, oh, forbid that. They're going to do some time, serious time in jail, right? Yeah, they're going to get 3 meals a day, health care, all that. But you ain't coming out. You ain't going to touch no kind of, female out here. The only females you be touching is going to be the next man next to you. And that's how a lot of them come out, on the other side of humanity. And, there's a fight between good and evil. I don't know who started this fight, man, but it's been like this for generations now. As far as I can remember when I was young, since the Vietnam War, I always heard people talking about Vietnam, and, until this day, wars are still fighting. It's never going to stop. Because once you spill blood, they say it will never stop. And that's what's happening. Now, just imagine if China decides to, invade Taiwan. You know who's going to suffer most? Because the closest body to China is the Philippines, right? Because America is going to probably tell the Philippines to engage with the Chinese. So the Chinese are going to start bombing the Philippines, and the Philippine islands, going to be destroyed, bombarded. And whose fault going to be? The white folks, man, the Americans. Man, they got everybody in trouble because they got bases all around these countries that got nothing to do with their BS. With other world country or other world leaders. They just don't want to get along. They don't want to negotiate unless it's by their negotiation, by their so-called rules of negotiation. If it doesn't benefit America and the European nations, they're not gonna accept your negotiations or what you agree upon. So the best thing that America knows best is take people to war or take the land. confiscate their resources. That's what they do. That's what they're good at. Bad contracts. And you don't agree in the bad contract, they're just gonna invade your country and take all the resources. And you know what they do with those resources, right? They sell it back to the American people. You know how stupid that is? You know that the American people never think about that? The America goes to another country, steal other country's resources, and comes back and sell it to its own citizens of the country, to make money. Isn't that disgraceful? For our government to do, and put hardship as its own citizens, and then they want their citizens to go out there and fight for a government that's always gouging their income and raising up bills. Every time a bill comes, it's higher than before. Every year taxes go up. Everything goes up. Things like that. Luckily, that I've been holding some stocks since COVID, since the pandemic, and I've been holding stocks of oils for a long time now, and I made money on that stock, and I'm trying to hold up again, see if I make it again, but I'm not gonna get rid of it because oil, all these oils and energy, all the energy on resources and all that, you're gonna need that. So it's good to invest in those shares of stock that's deals with energy. So I got a couple of oil and propane, liquid gas or whatever you call it, air gas,